What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unstructure. I'm your host, Lion, joined by my co-host E.
What up? What
We
up?
are talking The Boys, episode 5.
Yes, a lot of things happening, a lot of things being destroyed. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Lewis Hamilton, took third place. It's a big accomplishment. Let's get back to the story. H, let's get unstructured.
Let's go. The Boys, episode 5. A bit of a change of pace this week. So many things going on. We had a few episodes that were pretty high. This one was a little more mellow, but there was a lot of story development in this particular episode.
And action, but go ahead.
Action. I do have a crazy theory that I want to throw out to you guys, and I think might pan out. I'm going to be discussing that a little later down in the episode, so stick with us. And let us know if you have any questions or comments about the episode down in the comments, okay? So the show starts with the boys coming back from Russia. We have Mother's Milk still dealing with Soldier Boy being alive, so much so it's causing him to have issues with Butcher and having issues with even picking up his daughter. Can you talk a little bit about that, E?
Yeah, he's really having PTSD, and I imagine, like, as being a kid, being vulnerable and able to do anything, and seeing your family eliminated like that, and just wishing that you had the ability, the powers to fight back. That's coming out of him right now, and he's unable to be who he should be, which is a dad to his daughter right now, despite him trying. So that causes a conflict, and it's weird because as much as anybody has a reason to want to get rid of Soups and has a reason to really not like Soldier Boy, Marvin has a code that he won't violate no matter what. And that causes strife down the line.
By the way, as I'm talking about this, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and stepfathers out there.
Big shout out.
Holding it down. And with that in mind, like, it feels crazy that they are playing the stepfather to Marvin's daughter to be someone who believes too much in conspiracy. So much that he's a big fan of Homelander. He's having her watch Homelander propaganda, having her have like lunch boxes and clothing, and so much that it annoys Marvin to the point that he had a flashback. If we saw
because Marvin was directly affected by the malignant actions of Paperboy. I mean, not Paperboy, Soldier Boy.
That's another show.
Soldier Boy. So now you have this guy who loves the whole superhero persona, and Marvin hasn't explained to his daughter what that persona meant to her bloodline.
She's too innocent to know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely not the right time to tell her, but he doesn't want her being indoctrinated with this love for superheroes, which is in this case, it's an utter hypocrisy and a facade that's being propagated by the powers that be.
I found interesting that later on in the episode, towards the end, Mother's Milk had an opportunity to take V24, which I think he was going to take it because he was going to go against Soldier Boy. And this is what I think his opportunity. He declined it, and this caused some friction with Butcher and him, which Butcher roofed him to get him out of the playing field so he can make a deal with Soldier Boy. I mean,
Butcher is by any means necessary. In order to build a mud castle, you got to get in the mud, and he's willing to do whatever it takes. Clearly, and there's no limit. Also, there is no limit to how far he will go, which means that he took the temporary. Yeah, exactly, and that means that he also kills superheroes. He doesn't just put them on notice. He's looking to take them out as a superhero, which Marvin said that's a direct conflict with what we stand for. We don't want superheroes, but you're becoming a superhero to eliminate the superheroes, and you're getting drunk off of this power. It's clear. So what are we doing here? This is a blatant hypocrisy. What are we doing?
This is the story of the whole season. We're seeing that every single character that we consider the boys, that the good guys, are all joining that dark side. They're taking everything to these limits. They're faced with an enemy that they cannot fight directly. So what they're resulting is we have a Huey that feels so weak that he's gonna take V24, and I know at any cost to be able to fight and feel strong and not helpless, and uses the excuse he wants to be able to save his girl, which he doesn't want to be safe. We have Butcher that is becoming the thing he hates the most, the Soup, and he's becoming Homelander essentially. He's just as bad and evil as Homelander is at this particular moment. He's betraying his friends, and he's taking V, and he's just on a killing spree per se. It's just not acting in the right way. He's been making deals with Soups. He just made a deal with Soldier Boy. We saw that he made a deal with Homelander early in the season. So everybody's becoming their worst selves. It's like everybody's becoming terrible people. It's like the running theme for this whole season so far.
Yo, I love it so much because there is no clear, definitive line of a good guy and a bad guy. Everybody has a little bit of dirt on them, so we as viewers have to pick who we like the most based off of, I guess, who we can identify with the most and possibly our moral code, which it creates some type of ambiguity, as well as controversy. You know, there's people, no matter one viewer to the other, can identify with different characters. Like there's some people that can identify with Marvin's daughter's stepfather, and there's other people that can identify with Marvin, and then there's other people that can identify with A-Train. What's going on?
Even Homelander.
That and Homelander.
I'm glad you brought that up because they're bringing the whole theme of Black Lives Matter and police brutality with the character of Blue Hawk.
Soup lives matter.
Oh my God.
Soup lives matter. Yes.
It's crazy because A-Train has been wanting to. He wants to get involved, but he's getting involved in the laziest way possible, and this is cost him too much that his brother is now injured because of his mistake, because of him being so weak in his character, and he's afraid to use his powers because he could die. But this might lead him to become a greater hero. At some point, he might give his life by using his powers to save his brother or to do something that's actually meaningful for the first time in his life.
Exactly. He's still trying to swim on land, and you got to jump in the water. And that's what it comes down to. You can't be halfway in it. You got to pick a side for the situation that he's in. And anytime that he plays defense, he causes problems. And we've seen that. So with A-Train, there's prices to pay, which he hasn't quite. I think now he's finally learned. And we'll see what he does with it, but he can no longer sit on the sidelines. And it doesn't, however you feel in reality, with the topic that they're talking about, what A-Train is trying to do, he can't stay on both sides of the fence. Whatever.
No, certainly. Talking about Soups, he had to sell the last bit of his soul to be able to get that little fake for fake action from Blue Hawk, right?
Exactly.
Homelander is putting all of his puppets in place. He has the Deep running the crime analysis team.
We won't say it, but we shouldn't.
I won't go there.
Yeah,
I won't touch that.
And it's bigger than the one man. This is a case of being surrounded by yes men. You have one man in power that's putting a bunch of yes men in his entourage and his crew, and therefore things happen a certain way, right? And you don't see reality. Homelander is acting like he's a CEO, but he has no idea. He doesn't know the first thing about being a CEO, but he's holding on to that authority because that's the only thing that people respect. So, don't be the first one to come up with a good idea in the room, which we saw what happens.
Now, Queen Maeve is the only one that I see is going against the grain because she has an axe to grind with Homelander. She's providing the V24 to the boys. But this is where my crazy theory is coming in. So get ready. So this is what's going on. This is what I think is going on. So we had a flashback where a young Stan Edgar was walking around a battlefield. This is the time that Soldier Boy got taken by the Russians. What we now know was sold out by his own team, that everybody hated him because he was a little bit out of control. I had to believe that Stan Edgar had something to do with it because he wanted to install a different type of superhero there. He was on a come up. We also saw a scene where we finally see the face of Black Noir and see what happens to him. And we see that he has kind of friendship, or at least some kind of cordiality with Stan Edgar. So I think this character of Black Noir is going to be a key piece in the things that are going to be happening this season, since we have not seen much or any at all of Black Noir. I do believe that the person providing the V24 to the boys, to Queen Maeve, is Stan Edgar from the Shadows. Because where she's getting this V24, she's just walking into VOD and getting it, especially with all the tension and Homelander running everything around. I doubt it. I think she's being handed by an agent of Stan Edgar, given it because he's using the boys as a testing for the product to perfect the product. So he doesn't have so many side effects, so he can create soups on demand, per se. I also believe he's organizing everything in a way that we will see. Because who was the person who got Soldier Boy back into the U.S.? Because all of a sudden he was left free in Russia and he showed up in the U.S. So this gotta be Stan Edgar's hands has to be involved into this. He knows that he has powers, that he has an ability now that takes powers away, that burns the V24, as we saw with Kimiko, off of the system of the soups, and he's gonna use that to, I won't say kill Homelander, but he's gonna use this to weaken Homelander, to showing how weak he is, and not just mentally, how we see in the show, he's so full of doubt that he has to lash out at people and intimidate him with his power. He's gonna show he's weak, he's incapable, and he's gonna put him in a vulnerable state, at least for some time, as the biggest antagonist. I think Stan Edgar is the one holding all the cards this season.
Lion, let's go down imaginary lane real quick. Can you imagine if there were a fight between Soldier Boy and Homelander, and Soldier Boy zaps him and takes all his powers, and Homelander becomes powerless, but he still has his ego? How would Homelander react to that? Like, who would he be? How would he wouldn't have an identity. He wouldn't know
be a broken man.
Exactly. Toy. He wouldn't know how to operate within society. It would be cataclysmic, detrimental, and just the biggest implosion I think that you ever seen. And what a great story would that be if we actually got a chance to see that. I think there's a lot of there to what you said, because keep in mind that not a lot of people know that temporary V24 is available, because it was orchestrated. It was orchestrated by the man on top, right? So not a lot of people know that it's there. So of the few that know, Stan Edgar is one of them, as well as, Stan Edgar created the problem that is now known as Homelander, and he has been dethroned by Homelander. But he was real smug when he had that last conversation with Homelander, and then all of a sudden, like you said, Soldier Boy just pops up in the U.S. undetected. Nobody knows who he is. It's all good. Go ahead, do your thing. I think, like you said, Stan Edgar is the puppet master pulling the strings here. Let them duke it out, and I'll pick up the pieces once it's done. H, what do you think about Kimiko talking for the first time?
She finally said a word, and we had that romance happening with Frenchie and her. But at the same time, Frenchie's now being kidnapped by little Nina, and she's so happy. Kimiko's so happy she doesn't no longer have those powers, because that was the burden in her life. I think the fact that Frenchie was taking is gonna force her to at least take V24 or gain her powers back. It might be a situation where when she takes V24 once again, instead of just being a temporary thing, this will become a permanent thing for her regaining her powers back.
I think there's going to be some side effects of V24. I'm just saying it out there. Let me know your thoughts. I think that the Butcher will become permanently a soup permanently, and that will be like the worst thing that could happen.
Becoming the thing he hates the most. Yeah,
exactly. I think he's going to have some long-term side effects. And speaking about becoming a soup, Huey made the decision to become a temporary soup again. And in that fact, that he met a crossroads between him and Starlight, and he turned his back on her.
Messed up. You know, he messed up. He had a good girl that was down for him, that all she wanted was him. In a world where everybody just wants clout, just wants money, where it's gold digging, Starlight just wanted somebody to be there for him.
Said, don't leave me. And he turned his back on her. It's done, dude. Like, why would you ever make that decision? Like, even if that's the route that you wanted to go, there's always tomorrow. Like, you could reason that out. But when you turn your back, the door's closed, game over. We done here. Pack it up. So that's how the show ends. But before we end our show, let me know, what do you rate this episode? So for me, this episode, I would say it's about I'm going to give it an 8. Lion.
All right.
I'm going to give it an 8.
That's my new moniker. So I'm going to give this. I have one more thing to say after this, but I'm going to give the episode a 9. And I was going to give it an 8, where I remember the Seth Rogen scene where he is watching Crimson Countess do her porn crime kind of situation, and he's like watching her do her thing, and he's trying to
hilarious,
relieve himself. Because he's one of the producers of the show, by the way. That was hilarious. I remembered I had to give it a 9.
That was
funny. Oh man, that was terrible.
Seth, oh my gosh, he's so brilliant in every role that he plays, and that was such a great comedic relief. And that scene there, oh man, the way that it played out and everything, it brings reality to the screen, and it was hilarious. Right on time, perfect.
Yeah, it was a good episode again. Well, I won't say it was as great as the last couple episodes, but it was very good. And that Seth Rogen cameo put it over for me. Yeah. So that's what I rate the episode. If you made it this far, help a brother out and give us a like. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think is going on in the show, what your predictions may be. If you have a suggestion for a show that we should check out, let us know. Hey, I think it's time to close it out. Take it away.
Hey, listen, we'll be here next week. You should be here too. Until that time, I'm E, this is Lion, and we are
Unstructured.
That's right.